Welcome, sacred soul, to this episode of The Spiritual Psychologist. I'm so happy that you are here once again. We are going to tune in today to the ancient wisdom, the ancient codes of your body. That wisdom has been there throughout your whole life. It has been there before you were even born. And yet we are in a society, in a culture where we have learnt, we have been indoctrinated to ignore those sacred signals from our body. So we're going to start connecting back in today to start really listening to what is happening in our bodies. We are going to dive straight into a practice that is going to support you to do that. It's a body scan. If you hear that and straight away you want to switch this off, I invite you to meet that resistance. When we are not wanting to connect with our bodies through a simple practice even, then it is an indicator that we are on to the next dopamine hit. So I want you to just tune in, take these couple of minutes to start connecting, to start reconnecting with your body, to see what is present. So we are going to start by placing our feet on the earth, connecting with the earth beneath us, and taking a breath, breathing in through the nose, allowing that life force, that prana, to enter our bodies, and taking a breath out through the mouth, releasing. Notice where your breath is sitting. Is it sitting high up in your chest? Or is it sitting down below in your belly? Just notice without judgment where it is sitting. And I want you to now bring your awareness to your shoulders. Is there any tightness? Is there any contraction? Or is there a sense of relaxation and surrender? And if you feel that sense of contraction, that sense of tightness, maybe you have recurring pain in your shoulders or your shoulder blades, the space between your shoulders. What is it that you are carrying? Where is there too much responsibility and pressure currently being experienced? We're going to move down now into our heart space, into our chest. Maybe placing your hand on that space and asking yourself, what is present here? What wisdom does my heart hold in this moment? And then tuning down into our belly. Our belly is our gut, our second brain. Tuning here. Maybe there's some tightness. Maybe there are knots in your belly. Maybe there's a feeling of excitement. The two things can get mixed. They can get confused sometimes. Just noticing what is there. Maybe there's a feeling of emptiness, or there's a feeling of heaviness. And finally, taking your attention now down to your feet, connecting with the earth beneath you, and inviting in that holding, that surrender to the earth. Can you lean back, relax, and surrender just by 1%? Just bringing awareness now to your whole body, to your whole being. Taking a big breath in, maybe doing a little shake to bring yourself back to this episode. Well done. That was just such a brief practice. I think I had a truck going past me then, bringing some shopping. That little practice there was a practice that is so simple that just gets us to tune back into our divine flow, our divine essence, the truth of who we are. It allows us to connect with what is out of alignment and what is in alignment. So this is where the work starts. Doing these simple practices of body scans, of just noticing what is present throughout the day. Noticing those points of contraction, noticing those points of expansion as well. So how else can we notice what our body is communicating to us? So there is obviously our nervous system responses, our nervous system states. When we are in a sympathetic activated state, we are going into that fight-flight response. And what do we feel when we are in that response? We are going to get our heart racing. We're going to be feeling that tightness. If you go to bed, notice what is happening with your jaw. This is such a indicator from your body that you can bring attention to when you are going to sleep and when you wake up in the morning. If you are waking up and going to sleep with a tense jaw, so your teeth are gritted like this and everything is so tight here, that is an indicator that you are in that sympathetic activated response. It is so subtle, but it holds so much power. That information holds so much power. You can also notice it in the subtlety of your chest, of what is happening with your breath. Are you breathing into your belly? Notice right now what is happening with your breath. Or is your breath right up here? So notice that. That's another indicator of being in that sympathetic activation. We can be holding so much tension in our bodies, right? So these are all signs that we need to drop into a different state. So really what we want to be doing is dropping into that parasympathetic state, that parasympathetic activation. When we are in the parasympathetic activation, we are in divine feminine flow. We are in connection with ourselves. We don't feel the need to be in high alert because we are connected with trust. We are not in that space of pushing, forcing, overproductivity, because we have a deeper sense of trust and safety in our bodies. But it's not just in our bodies. We have a divine sense of safety in our path, in where we are being guided. So we get to really connect with this part of us. And what happens when we are connected, when we are in that parasympathetic activation? Everything slows down. I have noticed it this week, from cutting out some sugar, from cutting out caffeine, from coming back to a simple diet of loads of high nutrient vegetables, fruits, all of those yummy good things, really allowing my body to go into that rest and digest state. I have noticed already such a significant difference to my parasympathetic activation levels. So I wake up and I'm in a bit of a snuggled, sleepy state. I might have thoughts starting to arise, but it's like there is this slower shift from sleep state to activated state. If you're waking up and you're like on high alert straight away. I'm ready to go, even if it's from an excited place. That is also an indicator of being in sympathetic activation. When we wake up, we want it to be feeling like there is a slow emergence, right? Like something, when you think of a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, right? Something coming out of the cocoon, it's a slow emergence. That's when we know that we are in more of that parasympathetic activated state. So we can also go into freeze response, right? Freeze can look like our body is communicating through shutting down, right? So it can be, all I want to do is lie down and watch Netflix for hours on end. It can be scrolling, doom scrolling, right? Where you just end up scrolling, and actually you're struggling to take that action, right? So this can come in our businesses as well, where it's like, we don't want to post anything. We just go into a bit of a shutdown with that. We don't want to post content. We don't want to take action in the business, but we just sit with the thoughts of, I'm not doing anything, nothing's happening for me, nothing's coming through, right? That is a sign of a little bit of that freeze as well. So when we are in this space, we need to listen to it, because often it's a sign of the early signs, or maybe even the later signs, depending on where you're at on that freeze scale of burnout. You know, our body is getting flooded, it's getting overwhelmed, and so the response then is to go into that shutdown where we don't respond to things. So in that situation, we need to slow down. Actually, we need to listen to what our body is communicating. Our body is communicating that freeze because things are overwhelming. There's, like I said, a flooding of the nervous system. So we need to listen to that, create intentionally that spaciousness. So if you are in this space at the moment, tune into where you need to create space. The thing is with freeze is that we can go through mini loops of freeze, right? So actually people think that we are either in one state or in another state. The reality is that you can move through mini cycles of this, right? Especially when you are running a business, leading spaces, guiding other people, or you're in a busy job or whatever it might be. There might be periods, for example, where you notice that you're busy at the weekends, you're busy at work, and you get to a weekend where you're like, okay, I just want to chill out and not do anything. In some ways, that's a mini freeze. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be if we are entering these longer states of being in a freeze state. So finally, I just want to speak about fawning as well. Fawning is when our body is communicating to us that it is unsafe actually to meet our own needs. And so what do? We say yes. We say yes to everything. We adapt ourselves so much to please the people around us, and we bypass as a result our own sacred no, our own sacred yes to ourselves. So this can look like not knowing when to say no, right? It can look like saying yes to all the events. It can look like packing your diary with way too much stuff and then feeling overwhelmed, but feeling like I can't take any of the things out of my diary. It can be saying yes to family events when actually we're feeling like we just need to retreat and spend time by ourselves a little bit. It can be saying yes, even to a coach, right? Where it's like, we don't feel good about an investment, or we don't feel good about something that a coach is guiding us towards. It doesn't feel good in our bodies, but because the coach is saying it, because the mentor is saying it, we end up saying yes. That is fawning. So the signs of fawning is when you say yes to something, but it doesn't feel good in your stomach, it doesn't feel good in your body, so you go into contraction, you go into that tightness and you can start feeling overwhelmed in your mind, in your body, because there's too much to do, because you're doing something that is out of alignment, right? So you get those same similar feelings, and a feeling as well of fear. So that fear can come into your body, in your stomach, in your chest, where you're feeling the fear of saying no. You're feeling like, I have to say yes because it means otherwise something bad is going to happen, right? So you're actually responding from that fear space, that fear state. So those are some of the ways that we can start tuning into our body. Which states are you currently in? What state can you get into? And it's not about making any of those states bad or wrong, but it's understanding the wisdom that those states are sharing to you, right? Each of those cycles or states of being are communicating vital, important information to you, and it's up to you as to whether you want to listen to that or not. So to finish this beautiful episode today, I want you to just come back to those practices of tuning in to your shoulders, what wisdom is held there, what responsibility needs to be shifted, or are you in alignment? Are your shoulders soft, relaxed? Or is there tension there? Are you holding the weight of the world on your shoulders? What is going on with your breath? Coming back to that question throughout the day. And what is happening in your gut, in your belly? I invite you to tune into those 3 spaces as a regular practice. Tune into what is being held in your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your belly. I added the jaw in as well because it's an important one. I will leave you with this today. We dive in so much deeper into this in the Academy of Healing, my 12-month coaching certification as well, if you are interested in exploring more.